back, Nerglings. So, building a Realms of Chaos army. Now this is going to be fun because this is something that I've really wanted to do for quite a while now, and it's been sort of in my mind to do probably for about a year now. So I figured, it being the 25-year anniversary of me starting collecting miniatures, now was the perfect time to start this project. And it is a bit of a project, I've got to say. So what I'm going to do is attempt to recreate a Realms of Chaos sort of feel from a lot of old models, but with sort of maybe my new sort of painting techniques and everything, and give them a bit of a sort of a Nergling feel to the models. So what I've got in front of you here is my sort of fledgling Realms of Chaos army. So what have we got? Well, we've got Chaos Warriors over here in the top left. Now these are all pre-slaughter, so they've got an integral base, which means that they look a lot like this. So as you can see, once it zooms in, they come on a sort of a splatty, strange splodge of a base, and really you can't rank models up like this, and because they're quite old and 2D, they have a bit of a knack of falling over. So what I've gone and done is I've mounted all of these guys in some new EM4 miniatures bases. So basically these are slightly lower than normal bases. They sit inside the base rather than on top of the base, so that allows me to put the pre-slaughter base down into the base, and then I can flock and sort of put stuff over the top of it and make it nice and sort of level. So that's what I've done with the Chaos Warriors. Now you can see that I've done a few of them, and in the next video I'll probably be going into a little bit more detail about what they are, where they come from, and what I'm going to be doing with them. So what else have we got? We've got some more Chaos Warriors here, so same detail there. In the front here we've got some, I think they're Ralpatha Europe Imperium Knights. So these guys are just a whole group of knights, and they've got an Essex Miniatures standard bearer with them, and he's a bit of an interesting character, so we'll just have a brief look at him. And he is sort of I guess he's a beastman because he's got a pig head, and he's riding a pony rather than a horse, so that's kind of a goofy, fun model. And he goes there. So what else have we got? Okay, as you can see at the back here, we've got some giant Minotaurs. Now these are my favourite Minotaur models that have ever been produced. They're from Midlam Miniatures, and they just look fantastic. We'll go into those in a little bit more detail in another video. Okay, so what have we got sort of festering around at the back here? We've got some interesting little models. They are a strange sort of witch with a bunch of like strange witch with some sort of weird children. So that's a bit fun, a bit different, very chaotic, very, very strange looking, and she's got some nice strange mutated feet there. Again, we'll go into those in a bit more detail in another video. What else have we got? We've got a Chaos baggage train. Now the baggage train concept was very sort of old school, and you don't really see them around anymore. And basically what it is a sort of a train of sort of beasts of burden and sort of mutated sort of freaks and stuff that follow the army around and just scoop up all of the loot and all of the captives and victims, I suppose, for the army. So I've got a little baggage train here with a couple of beasts of burden over here, so we'll be going into those in another video as well. What else have we got? Well, we've got a Chaos Champion right in the middle there, and he is a Pantheon of Chaos character. So the Pantheon of Chaos was a Kickstarter that began, I think, maybe about a year ago now. Off the top of my head, I think it's about a year ago, and they Did some fantastic sculpts, some really nice work, and this was sort of a bonus model for the Pantheon of Chaos. So he's quite a classic sort of style model, and he's based on the front cover of the old Warhammer Fantasy Battle rulebook, I believe. So I'm going to be giving him hopefully a nice paint job. And then finally, for this sort of group, we've got a Minotaur standard bearer, which is pretty interesting. I sort of wanted to base him on a old John Blanche miniature that I found online, and I've seen it in numerous White Dwarfs from quite a long time ago, and it was a fantastic conversion, and I just wanted to sort of do my own version, I suppose. So that's what I've got so far, and now I've actually got, you know, piles and piles of other stuff, including, let's see, I've got 3 regiments of Beastmen, I've got a regiment of Chaos Dwarfs, I've got, let me see, some Sorcerers and Bray Shaman. So for the Beastmen, I've got a Shaman to lead them, and I think I've got some Thugs as well. So yeah, I've got some Thugs. So that's all going to be sort of elaborated on more in some following videos over the next few days, so stay tuned. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. So today we're going to be looking at my Chaos Warriors and what I've managed to sort of achieve over the last few days. Well, now, these guys are fantastic models. They're proper old school Realms of Chaos characters. Unfortunately, I haven't managed to get around to giving them a blast of the old matte varnish yet, so they will be a little bit shiny, but hopefully you can see sort of the character that they've got as I sort of show them to you. So this guy is a Chaos Warrior, believe it or not. He may be naked for some reason, but he is a Chaos Warrior. I gave him a nice little sort of red nose, and then he's got a metal skull cap to protect him. We've got, I guess this is the leader. He's sort of, I guess he's the most bulky of the group, and he's sort of got a nice sort of a ruby red coat or cape. So yeah, he's quite nice. I need to put some rust on him as well, just to give him a little bit more character. I think this is my favourite one that I've painted so far, simply because I like the sort of the check pattern that I've given him on his sort of tunic, or his under armour, I suppose. And he comes with a nice cape and a cool mohawk as well. So yeah, that's a nice model. Again, overly shiny, but hopefully you can let that pass. So what the hell are these models? These are old speciality set Chaos Warriors and Chaos Knights. Here is an unpainted one, as you can see. I've mounted him down into a hollow base. So as you can see there, the pre-slaughter tab that he's standing on is hidden pretty much entirely in the lip of the base. So what I'll do is then I'll fill that in once I've painted and varnished him. I'll fill that in with my sort of concrete stuff that I've sort of blended up, and make that nice and flat, and then I can put things on it like static grass and stuff like that. Yeah, these guys are 3 sets. No, sorry. These particular guys in front of you are 2 sets. These are speciality set Chaos Warriors, and these ones are C35, I believe. Oh, let's just zoom that in. So, sorry. Speciality set Chaos Warriors and C35 Chaos Warriors. I've done, I think, 13 of these guys. I've undercoated the rest, and I've got one to varnish. And then I haven't really done anything with these guys yet, as you can see. Now the front unit is led by an unreleased Chaos Sorcerer who looks rather fetching. He's got a nice cloak, and he's sort of pointing at where he wants everybody to go. So he's quite a nice model. I'm quite surprised I've not actually had the time to sit down and paint him yet. So he's going to be a nice model to paint. I've actually got another 10 Chaos Warriors sort of sitting to one side, but unfortunately I haven't had time to base them all up yet. So as you can see here, this guy hasn't got a hollow lip base yet. What I'll be doing is, once they've all been based up, I'll start this sort of secondary unit. Fingers crossed I'll have this back unit finished by then, and I'll have something to really show off. But that's all I've got at the moment. Just as a side note, because these models are quite old, I've had a few sort of breakages. Now this guy, his sword snapped off, so what I did is I found another sword, sort of a much longer sword, and what I did was I sort of moulded it right back down to sort of a reasonable size for him to hold, and I've sort of given him a bit of a repair. And then on this guy as well, just exactly the same thing happened. Because they're old lead, they're very soft metal, and it's got quite a tendency to warp and to bend, especially in the post. So what I did was I simply snipped off the old weapon and just gave him a nice new white metal weapon, which will be much sturdier, much stronger, and hopefully he'll last a lot longer in the future. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be having a look at some Minotaurs for the Realms of Chaos army that I'm building. Now I've already actually painted one of them, and he is the Minotaur Lord. And as you can see, he is quite a beast, literally. He's a big old model. He's on a 50mm by 50mm square base. Actually, it's a MDF base that I've put him on, simply because they're about 100 times cheaper than the plastic Games Workshop bases that people are hawking on blooming eBay. So yeah, MDF base all the way. As you can see, he's got some really quite nice armour going on. There you go, and you can see he's got a nice red eye. Probably up late all night stalking around the old labyrinth. And I gave him green skin, which is a bit of a first for me. I've never painted a Chaos model with quite such a strange coloured skin, so that's kind of cool. And I mean, he's a fantastic model. He's from Midland Games or Midland Miniatures. I've almost finished his base. It needs a bit of highlighting to be done, and then a good old blast from the matte varnish. But yeah, the rest of them are pretty smart models. I would say this one's almost finished. He needs his loincloth painting and some of his belt buckles, and then his head and horns doing. But he's really fun. He's running forwards. He's a quite a heavy metal model. As you can see, I've just covered the base in just crap and just stuff that I've just been sort of just picked up out of the bits box and just glued it on, basically. So yeah, these guys are, I think they're quite cheap really on the Midland site. I think they're only about 10 or 12 pounds a model, and they are just amazing model. They're just really nice. I mean, you can pick any one of them up and they just ooze sort of style and class. Yeah, really nice, really dynamic looking. And there's no sort of copied moulds or anything. Each one is a completely separate piece, and they are just really quite nice. There we go. So that's the Minotaur herd in progress. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at a few more miniatures from my Realms of Chaos army. So what have we got here? We've got some Chaos Knights, and these guys are fantastic little models. They're from, I believe, Ralpatha Europe. I think they're part of the Chaos Imperium army, and they're just, I mean, they're really quite nice. I've only managed to paint one so far, and it's this guy. So as you can see, my sort of classic dirty style of painting, just sort of dark hues and everything, but I've managed to sort of lighten it up a little bit with just some little highlights and stuff. So on there I've managed to do a check pattern, and I've given him a nice sort of green shield as well. Maybe it's a magic shield. So he's quite a nice sort of dynamic looking model. He's sort of racing forwards. He's got like a skull on the top there. But I mean, these models are really nice, really quite easy to paint. I found them really, or I found that guy particularly easy to paint. Sort of quite an easy sort of model, really. I mean, they're not two-piece horses either. They're one-piece horse. They're a one-piece horse. So as you can see, it's just built onto an integral base. So an integral base is one that's stuck to the model, and I've just mounted them directly on top of old cavalry slaughter bases, and then I've just sort of glued all the offcuts onto the base so they're not wasted or clog up the bin or anything like that. But they're really nice models. There we go. As you can see at the back, there's a standard bearer. He's from Essex Miniatures. Now, I briefly had a look at him in the video introducing the Realms of Chaos army, and he's just sort of a strange beastman riding a pony. He's got a nice sort of banner going on there. So I think I'll probably try and paint something old school onto this. I mean, in fact, the shape of the banner actually looks like a mouth there, a nose, maybe where I could put an eye, so maybe I could draw a big face on it or something. I think that might be quite cool. Just something different and a little bit more colourful from my usual style, so the colourful elements will hopefully add a bit more of a pizzazz, I suppose, to the army. But yeah, that's my small group of Chaos Knights. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. So, what have we got here? We have got a Chaos Minotaur Standard Bearer for the Realms of Chaos Army. Now, he is a really fun model. I had a great time building him and converting him, and really he's probably one of the standout models in the army at the moment. He's really quite nice. So for the main body, for the whole body in fact, he's an old metal Minotaur Lord. His head is from a Chaos Dwarf Great Taurus, which is the giant bull. He's got little bits and pieces from the bits box, so I guess this is some skull of something, I'm not entirely sure. And there's a skeleton, maybe the skeleton's driving him or something. He looks kind of fun. I've given him a ugly head on the banner pole, or a few ugly heads on the banner pole as well. So conversion work that I've actually, or pieces that I've actually sculpted. I actually sculpted this fur, as you can see there. It's quite squiggly and stuff. I sculpted all of that just to give him a bit more, I don't know, a bit more dynamism. Is that a word? Yeah, I think it is. I gave him some heads and some skulls and some bits and bobs around there as well. And then for his base, as you can see, I've given him some mushrooms, some cogs, some static grass, just a little bit of everything really. So yeah, he's a fun model. Yeah, he's a great model really. I really rate him. I think he's super. Now what I've got to work on is the banner for him. So the banner that I want to use is a Mona Lisa sort of banner, like a old model that John Blanche did about, 20 years ago maybe. So what I did was I photoshopped the Mona Lisa onto what was it, Pixlr, and I managed to get a picture of the evil sun, so the red evil sun, with that classic sort of Realms of Chaos checking around the edge. And then what I did was I printed it out and then I painted around it. So all of this up here is all painted, and then I burnt the edges as well. So the edges are all burnt and sort of chaosy, and then I just sort of loosely went over the back with a wash. What I'll do is I'll sort of stipple that up once it's dry. It's actually may look a bit shiny still. It's still sort of drying, and actually I think it could be dry. Yeah, I think it's dry. And sort of that'll be my chaos banner. So that'll be going on there like that eventually. Once I figure out how to attach the damn thing to the model, I'm just keenly aware that I don't want any of the banner to sort of get in the way of the model, so I've sort of designed it to hang so that it'll be on the side of the model. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, that's my that's my Chaos Minotaur standard bearer. He's going to be the battle standard for the army. So that's all I've got for today. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at another smaller unit for my Realms of Chaos army. What have we got today? Well, we've got some sort of freaks and odd sort of stuff for the baggage train that I'm going to be building. Now, this is sort of a crazy looking model from Eureka Miniatures, or the Eureka Undisciplined Army. And it's sort of like a motherly figure with, I guess, what can only be described as some sort of strange baby thing there, in this bit here, that has a tail. So I guess they're really sort of strange chaos mutants, and basically what they'll do is they'll walk around the battlefield after the battle and just pick up all of the loot and, you know, sort the captives out and stuff like that. So there's a bit of a crazy looking character. I've got a little ghost girl here, so I've painted her to be a bit of looking like a ghost. So what I'll do with this is I'll highlight it with white, and then I'll go over with the metal oxide paint again, and it'll bring out that sort of blue hue a little bit more. I've got a little chap with a hobby horse here. He looks kind of cool, I like his hat. So he'll be a fun model to paint. I'm looking forward to painting him. And then I've got this weird, like, bird critter thing. Not entirely sure what it's supposed to be, but he's got a boot on a twig or a pole that he's probably going to kick someone's ass with. So yeah, that's my sort of, I don't know, they're probably not slaves, they're more sort of just mutated monsters that probably don't have a home anywhere else. So they'll be walking around after the battle's won, picking up all the loot and capturing the nasty little victims. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at another set of models for the Realms of Chaos army that I'm building. Now this is the Chaos baggage train. Now what I wanted to do was sort of do something quite old school and quite different, and I managed to find this model here of the sort of the old cart and the bloke driving it on Midland Miniatures, and it was just a fantastic model. I just had to get it, but I didn't know how to sort of make it sort of chaosy enough. So what I did was I replaced his horse with a zombie horse, as you do, and I gave him some sort of interesting trinkets in the back of his cart. So I gave him a rusted old nut there. He's got sort of a strange chrome ball there, and he's got a great big mushroom as well. So hopefully he sort of evokes a little bit more of that sort of crazy, wacky chaos sort of army feel. Now I've got a evil lord here who's in charge of the baggage train. Now you can only have a baggage train if you've got an evil lord, let's face it. And he's quite a nice model. Let's have a bit of a gander at him. There you go. He's a pretty groovy dude. Again, I think he's from Midland Miniatures, and he's just a sort of fun-looking guy. Kind of characterful. Got a nice face, and he's got some really quite ornate armour going on there. So yeah, he's a good model. And then I've got my crew of misfits that are guarding the baggage train. So I've got an Empire style halberdier, and he's got some nice check work on his skirt there, which really does evoke the sort of realms of chaos style that I'm trying to really bring out in these models. That's like an old classic sort of thing that the painters used to do with a lot of the models, putting black and white checks on things. So we've got an Orc Spearman there. He's very shiny. I haven't matte varnished them yet, unfortunately. I'll get around to that eventually. And then we've got a Goblin Captain, and he seems to have a bottle of grog as well. So I guess that's the perks of the job. If you find any grog, you can keep it. But he's the leader of the two guardsmen, I suppose. Yeah, and just to sort of flesh it out a little bit, I'll be using a couple of these Beasts of Burden as well. Now, the Beasts of Burden are just random models I've found lying around in the bits box. One's a horse and one's a camel, and they're just basically more stuff to add to the baggage train, I suppose. If I was to sort of field this as a single entity, I'd probably add in the crazy old crone and her weird children as well. They'd probably take up the back of the formation, just to sort of give it just to make it look a little bit more interesting, I suppose. And it would be great for sort of pictures and stuff like that in the future as well. So that's all I've got for you today. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at the Beastmen, or some of the Beastmen that I'm going to be using for my Realms of Chaos army. Now, what I've actually managed to do is build sort of 3 separate units. So this unit is going to be a unit of 2 hand weapons. There's going to be another unit with a hand weapon and shield, and then there's going to be a further unit of sort of smaller statured beastmen. I guess they're more like Ungor, so to sort of bulk up the numbers, I suppose. And they're going to be armed with hand weapon and shield as well. So what I'd like to do is just sort of have a look at a couple of the models and just sort of give you my sort of reasoning behind why I've used them. So the models I've used are from a mixture of Citadel miniatures, so what you're used to from Games Workshop, however markedly older than they are metal. There's some, I believe, some Ralpatha Europe Chaos models in there, and there's some Midland miniatures models in there as well. So a bit of a mix, and in fact, if my memory serves me correctly, that guy there is a Pantheon of Chaos model. So there's 4 different sets of models that have gone into building this unit. Now, what I'd like to do is just sort of show you a few of them. Now, this is actually my favourite Beastman champion, simply because, well, as you can see, he looks awesome. He's nice. He's nicely symmetrical. He's quite big and imposing in stature. He has an absolutely radical weapon. It's just a great big heavy axe, and his stance is like, come on, bring it on. So yeah, he's one of my favourite champions, probably of all time. So I'm looking forward to getting around to painting him. Actually, I've painted him probably 3 times in the 3 other times that I've owned him. So he'll be fun to paint again. I've got a Chaos Demon here, but I thought, well, this guy, he's quite sort of is it human? Or he's a biped, so he walks on 2 legs. He looks like a beast. He's got sort of a big beastie sort of face, and really the only thing that might show that he's really a demon rather than a beastman are these massive sort of spikes that are coming out of his back. So I figured, well, why not use him as a standard bearer? So I could probably use him as a standard bearer. Plus he makes the unit look really quite interesting from afar. You look at them and you think, oh, a unit of beastmen, and then you see sort of some crazy spikes coming out of nowhere and you think, well, where the hell's that come from? So that's kind of cool. I've got I think this is Raupathi Europe beastman here. This is actually one that's armed with a hand weapon shield, but he'll be replaced with a two-hand weapon when I can find him out. But yeah, they're quite groovy looking models. He'll be based down into a regular square 25mm by 25mm base like this guy. As you can see, I've cut away some sort of corners or the edges of the integral base that he's on, and I've mounted him down into that EM4 hollow-lipped base. So as you can see there, that is going to look really quite nice when it's finished. It looks absolutely ridiculous now, but when it's finished, it will look really quite nice. That's one of my units of beastmen. I'll try and find some more in a minute, or maybe tomorrow now, and I'll get back to you with those as well. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at a few more of the models that I'm going to be using for my Realms of Chaos army. Now today's something a little bit different. I've actually got some models that are not even based for you. I'm sorry about that, that is terrible, but I do have some more bases on order. I just run out of square bases, unfortunately, and rather than base them on something that I really don't want them on, I'm just going to wait out and wait for the bases to arrive. But these guys are Chaos Dwarfs. So they were sculpted by Delaney King, who has done an absolutely brilliant job on these guys. They're absolutely brilliant. They're so nice. Really crisp, really characterful, and really chaotic as well. So as you can see, they're really quite a mixture of different sort of looks. So we've had a champion, we've had a warrior, and now here's what I can only assume is, I suppose, a sorcerer. He's got a mutated scorpion tail and he just looks fantastic. I think this guy is a standard bearer. Looking rather nice there. Really chaotic. This is just Realms of Chaos. Eat your heart out. These guys are going to be really, really nice in the Realms of Chaos army. So I've got, I think, 16 of these. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably have a unit of 4x4, and they'll just be a really nice solid unit that can soak up loads of firepower, and they'll be able to just sort of march across the battlefield and get stuck into some combat. But yeah, that's a bit of a quick gander at a few of the models. I've got a few more in this box here, kicking around actually. So there's a sort of a selection of sort of some more of them. Looking all completely different, and in which case perfect for a Realms of Chaos army. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at a few of the metal Chaos Warriors that I'm going to be using for my Realms of Chaos army. Okay, so we've actually had a look at these before. They are a speciality set of Chaos Warriors, and really, I mean, they're not they're not sort of able to rank up or anything. They're on sort of integral bases, the old pre-slaughter integral bases. And what I thought I'd do is I'll base them up into hollow-lipped bases. Now, hollow-lipped bases are these bases. So as you can see, this is an integral-based model, but I've mounted the model down into this hollow base, and you can get these bases from EM4 miniatures. They're really quite good, and they're all perfect size for Warhammer 25mm by 25mm, and they've got the same chamfer on the side as well, which is nice. So that's what I'm going to be doing to these 10 chaps, and then actually these guys will then rank up with this other unit of Chaos Warriors that I've got that are again not painted yet. It's all a work in progress, but what they'll be eventually is 2 lots of speciality set Chaos Warriors that make up 1 unit of 20. So that's the plan anyway. Whether or not that comes to fruition is another matter, I think. But yeah, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at another set of models that I've got for my Realms of Chaos army. Now this is the Chaos Dwarf Arse Cannon, quite elegantly named, I think, and it is basically just a giant demon with a cannon coming out of its arse. So if you wonder where the name come from, then it's kind of obvious. Now this was a project that was on Facebook for a while, the Arse Cannon project. Basically people were getting a little bit annoyed that you couldn't get one of the old school Chaos Dwarf Arse Cannons without forking out around about £400 or something ridiculous for an original sculpt. And really that's just a little bit too much for anyone for a single miniature, especially of this size. So what they did was they got together and they commissioned a sculptor to actually sculpt a brand new version of the model. So this is the new version of the model. The main body is in 2 halves, so this half and this half, and just squeezes together. And I've already glued it, so that's all nice and secure. Then there's the cannon hanging out the back side, and then there's the sort of the ugly head that goes on the front there. So he will actually get glued onto this base here, and hopefully that will be enough. I've considered basing it on a plastic base, but I'm not entirely sure that it's needed. It's quite a sturdy base. It's about 3mm thick of metal, so it's not going to go anywhere. I think it kind of looks quite good by itself. And this, just for sort of a comparison to see what the miniatures that came with it look like. This is the leader, or I guess he's the gunner master, and he is really quite nice. He's a really nice model. He's the only one that comes in 1 part, so I didn't want to show you the other ones because basically they're just in pieces at the moment, and there's not really much to look at, to be honest with you. But yeah, this guy's really nice, and he's got a lovely beard. And I really look forward to painting this guy, especially his classic sort of classic armour that he's got there. That's ripe for putting some check patterns on, and maybe giving him a nice sort of maybe a light green, or maybe a dark green with a light green highlight on that dragon cloak that he's got there. So yeah, that's kind of cool. That's pretty much all I've got for you today. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at the Eureka Undisciplined Army. Now these guys are absolutely fantastic. They're really characterful, really different, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that I've not come across them before just recently. I kept on getting comments on sort of Facebook and stuff like that. Oh, that looks really similar to a Eureka Chaos Army. And I was like, what the hell is Eureka? So I went onto the Eureka store and I found this thing called the Undisciplined Army. I was like, oh my god, that is absolutely outrageous. Some of these models are absolutely wacky as hell. Really, really interesting, really characterful, and completely different to what a lot of people are producing these days. So I figured not only did I need to highlight it, but I also need to add it to my Realms of Chaos army. Well, what have we got? What haven't we got really is the main question. We've got a bloke carrying a giant spoon, which in and of itself is maybe not that horrific, but he's got a sort of tentacle for an arm, so you can tell that he's chaosy just from that. And I hate to wonder what he was going to scoop up in that spoon, so yeah, that's maybe something for your imagination. We've got a running forward sort of lizard man with a big sort of pugil stick of some description. He's actually got a little bit of flash there that I've missed. Just to get rid of that. We've got a walking Eggman that's hatching out of his egg, which is kind of cool. We've got a bird-looking bird dude with a pincer for a hand. Very chaotic. What's this guy? Oh, we've got a sort of I guess he looks like a plague bearer. Sort of a plague bearer style guy with a big trumpet of some description, or maybe it's a listening device. There's a guy in a suit of armour armed with a giant feather. I don't know if he's fanning someone and cooling them down, or if that's his actual weapon. If that's his actual weapon, I hate to be the guy that he attacks. Get tickled to death. We've got he's backwards. A chap with 4 hook sort of pincer-like arms. Are they pincers? No. Sort of spike arms, I suppose. Pretty weird and strange. And we've got a bloke that is nothing but tentacles by the look of it. Either that or he's got really nice, luxurious hair. I'm not entirely sure. We've got a fellow wearing a tin pot for a hat, and with a huge sort of pyramid head style knife, which is pretty sweet. We've got a walking log by the look of it, with a tentacle for a hand. Kind of strange. We've got, what is this one? Okay, so we've got some sort of strange peasant there. You think, well, that's all well and good, but she's got a tentacle for a tail. Deary me. We've got a bloke that is hiding in a shell. Which is kind of cool. There's a fellow with a spear and what I can only describe as some sort of weird dodo head. Kind of strange, I like him. Pretty interesting. And there's a bloke with probably some sort of Neanderthal sort of face, and he's got what's that, like a stick with a head on it for some reason. He's got a tail, and he's got a peg leg as well. Wow, groovy. And then there's this bloke who is, I guess he must be the chef, I suppose, because he's wearing a deep fat fryer tin pot and he's wielding a saucepan. And rather than using the tin pot as a shield, he's using a leaf as a shield, which I don't think will save him. but maybe he's particularly tough or something. Maybe that's one of his attributes. So yeah, that's the that's the wacky, undisciplined army from Eureka Miniatures. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at a few more miniatures that I'm going to be using for my Realms of Chaos army. Now, as you can see, they are quite a mixed bag of miniatures. There's some Citadel miniatures in there. There's also some Midlam miniatures, Beastmen. So let's just sort of get into the nitty gritty and actually have a look at some of these models. So what have we got here? We've got probably the champion. He's sort of the biggest and the most buff of the guys, and he's got probably the nicest weapon as well. So he'll probably be a Beastman champion. He's from Midlam, and he's, you know, really quite a nice model. I'm using a Beastman is it a Pestigor? Is that what they're called these days? Pestigor musician, or sort of bell ringer, and he's sort of lightly undercoated. I'll give him sort of a coat of paint, but yeah, he's quite nice. And then we've got quite a few sort of oldie worldy Beastman spearmen, I suppose. And really these guys are just sort of classic old school goodness. They've got weird spikes on their heads, or weird horns on their heads, cloven hooves of course, they're Beastmen, and they're just really sort of goofy and interesting, really. What else have we got? What's something different? Well, this is different, certainly. So this is a Midlam Miniatures, or Midlam Games, Beastman Standard Bearer, and well, let's face it, he's absolutely awesome. He's got some really nice armour going on. He's got a nice weapon. He's got sort of, I guess, sort of a chainmail thing going on, and his banner is fantastic. It's a one-piece model, so there's no gluing involved other than to the base itself, and he's just brilliant, isn't he? I mean, it's fantastic. So that's another of my Chaos Beastmen units for my Realms of Chaos army. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at another one of the units that I've got for my Realms of Chaos army. Now these are some pretty groovy old school models. They're centaurs. Now I've just got a little bit of flash off of one of them there. But these are a mix of two different manufacturers. So these guys, I believe, are Ralpartha Europe, and this guy is a Citadel model. So I think the Citadel model will probably be the champion. I've got three of them. I think probably three's enough. I don't want to get into this completist sort of competition of trying to get all of the centaurs, because I actually know that there's quite a few. I think there's probably about 24 of them. So there's a lot to get, and really they can be quite expensive on eBay. So I'm probably not going to try and complete this particular collection. But I think three is a nice sort of representation for the race, I suppose, in the Chaos Army. Now you can see he's got one of the old school sort of integral bases, and that doesn't really faze me. I'll just chop that up and I'll stick him on a nice plastic cavalry base, and he'll rank up quite nicely with his chums. So he's that. This guy actually doesn't have a weapon for some reason. Not entirely sure where his weapon has gone, so I'll have to dig one out of the bits box, and maybe I'll give him a mace or something, just so that he's got something to attack his foes with. But again, Ralpartha integral base. And then I've got this guy who's a two-parter, so I'll probably end up pinning him, and I think he's probably going to be the unit champ, or the group champion. Quite a fun model, yeah. So what I wanted to do with my Chaos Army was to sort of have a real breadth of different models and sort of races represented. So I've got centaurs here, I've got, let's say, minotaurs, I've got chaos warriors, I've got a mounted chaos warrior with some sort of pig head. There's all sorts of things going on, and basically I wanted to give that sort of real mix of different armies impression, just to sort of, I guess, sort of give it that old school Realms of Chaos feel, where you'd have a unit of Chaos Dwarfs next to a unit of Beastmen, next to a unit of Thugs, next to a unit of Chaos Warriors, next to a unit of Chaos Knights, and it was all colourful and crazy, and it just looked fantastic. And that's really what I'm trying to sort of go for with this army. So yeah, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be having a look at another unit for my Realms of Chaos army. Now this is the old school Chaos Chariot, and it has my favourite Chaos Warrior, I think, of all time, because really he's just a really fun model. Look at that guy. He's got a really gnarly face going on. He sort of looks almost skeletal. He's got a great sort of hunched pose, using his lash on the horses. I like his armour as well, sort of plate armour, and really just a really classic sort of looking guy. So the actual chariot itself is this. It's actually one piece, I believe. One piece of metal. That's how you make chariots, that is. And then there's a couple of wheels and the sort of the side pieces. And it has these sort of, I guess they're sort of crazy, old school looking horses. Now that is that's a hell of an old school looking horse. One, it's white plastic. I mean, who remembers white plastic? Oh my god. And two, it's absolutely ginormous. Look at the size of this guy compared to his horse. He's tiny. So yeah, there are a couple of huge horses, and they're going to be dragging that sort of chariot around the battlefield. I'm going to put them on a nice large monster base, so it'll be a proper, I guess it's, 50mm by 100mm base, which will be nice. And really I'll try and make it a bit of a centerpiece, because it'll probably be one of the larger units in the army. So yeah, apologies on the fact that it's just a pile of pieces at the moment, but I mean, just look back at all the other videos of the stuff that I've actually managed to do over the last 2 weeks, and you'll see that I just haven't had time to be doing it, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully I'll get this one painted and based up real soon, and I can show it off to you. So be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at another unit for my Realms of Chaos army. And look at this guy. This guy is fantastic. He is an Essex Miniatures Chaos Sorcerer. So he's riding some sort of pony or small horse. He's got quite a nice sort of sculpted face and some hair going on. And really he's just going to be quite a nice piece to add to the army. This is the sort of model that you really just wouldn't get anything quite like this out of Games Workshop these days. You just wouldn't. He's something just completely different and just completely unique, really. I mean, I doubt you'll ever find one of these in an opposing army. So yeah, just let you sort of look at him a bit more. I don't think he's even got shoes on. Look at that. So yeah, that's my mounted Chaos Sorcerer that I'm going to be using for my Realms of Chaos Army. So look forward to him getting a lick of paint real soon. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at another one of the units I'm going to be using for my Realms of Chaos Army. Now, as you can see, he's quite a hefty chunk of metal, and I guess he's ogre size. I'd like to say. I mean, I've got a human here, probably ogre size. I mean, he's billed as an Essex Miniatures giant, but to be fair to the sculptor, this isn't big enough for a giant. And I know my giants. This is way more sort of ogre size, and in fact today I would say this guy is probably only just about the same size as an orc, or whatever they call them these days, aurochs or some nonsense. But yeah, he's a really nice model. He's got quite characterful looking face. He's got, you know, some armor pieces going on, some furs and stuff. He's just quite a nice model, I think. Yeah, really interesting, really different, and again, that's what I really wanted to sort of evoke from this army. Is I wanted to evoke this really old school sort of look and feel for the army, and this guy will really help do that, I think. Yeah, cool, good stuff. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at another one of the units I'm going to be using for my Realms of Chaos Army. And as you can see, they're quite an undisciplined lot. They unfortunately don't have bases yet, but hopefully I'll be able to get around to that soon. So what are they? Well, I'm not entirely sure what to use them as, or even sort of say they are. I guess they're sort of Ungor sized models. So they are beastmen of some description. I'd like to put them on slightly smaller square bases, so maybe 20mm square bases. But they're a mixture of Midlam and Citadel miniatures, and really they're just a mishmash of all sorts of good stuff. And this guy here is like some sort of unicorn that's like stampeding forward. He's got a sword and a hoof for a hand there, which is probably not going to help him when he needs to open a door or anything. But yeah, I mean, they're just a fun mix of different things. This is a Citadel Night Horrors Devil on the right hand side, and then another Midlam model on the left there. So yeah, I mean, they're just really quite a fun mix of miniatures. This guy is again Midlam on the left with the rather fancy banner, and then here on the right is a Pantheon of Chaos Beastman, which I'm going to be using for them. So what I really wanted to do was mix and match just a load of different sort of looking models. I mean, this guy's a boar beastman, and this guy looks like maybe a goat beastman, but I wanted them all sort of together in the same unit so that they really evoke that sort of realms of chaos look and feel for the army. And really that's what all of these sort of units are about. There to evoke that feeling of certainly nostalgia from old school gamers that want to look at them, but also maybe enthuse and interest newer gamers into thinking, well, actually there's a little bit more to all of these old models than I've previously thought. Maybe I'll get online, maybe I'll start a collection of my own. So yeah, there's I guess there's numerous reasons for me doing what I'm doing, but yeah, I mean, I love the models, and really this is something that I've really wanted to do for quite a long time. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at another one of the units that I'm going to be using for my Realms of Chaos Army, and maybe you'll be able to help me out with a bit of a conundrum that I've got. So this is the unit. It's 3 models strong. So I've got a few more models in the post. I think it's 4. I think it's 4 more models for this set of Chaos Warriors. Now I'd like a unit of 20, because then I could field 3 units of 20 Chaos Warriors. Now what I'm asking you, what do you think I should do to bolster this regiment? Now, there's a few options. So the first option is to simply continue hunting down a few more of the old models online on eBay and on some of the collectors pages. The second option is to make some of my own. So I could easily sculpt a few Chaos Warriors, maybe with some cloaks and stuff, and just to give them a few more guys to the ranks. So maybe I could sculpt 5 or 6 and add in a few more as I collect them. Or 3, the third option would be to use alternative models. So what I could do is use maybe some miniatures from the old collector's sets. I do have, I think, 4 or 5 extra Chaos Warriors that I could sort of steal from other collector's sets and put into this regiment. That might be a good way to go. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to consider about whether or not I wanted to break up my collector's sets, if you see what I mean. So those are the 3 options that I've got. I'd be keen to sort of see what you think. I don't know, you might come up with a completely new idea altogether. Use some proxy models, like some, I don't know, weights or something from Warhammer that are really easy to get hold of. You know, some of these models are, they look like they're undead models anyway, so maybe that's an option. I don't know, but yeah, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. I'd be pretty keen to know what you think. Thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at another one of the units that I'm going to be using in my Realms of Chaos army. Now today is quite a special day. This is Dragon Ogre Day, so be sure you get on Twitter and hashtag Dragon Ogre Day, and be sure to like, comment and subscribe on this video as well. Now this is the old school Dragon Ogre. He's all metal, so quite heavy, and I don't know what possessed me, but for some reason I went and based him on an oval base. So he won't rank up with anyone, but maybe as a separate model. Maybe as a separate model he can sort of get away with that. So for the army, I don't know. I'd like to sort of know what you think about that. If you think I should maybe rebase him on like a chariot sort of style base, so a big square or a big rectangular base. Maybe I should do that. I'm not entirely sure. What do you think? Just let me know in the comments below what you think I should do with the base. If I should just be down with it, maybe give him another highlight and then varnish him and just base him, or if I should rebase him on a chariot style base. He will definitely look more old school if he's got a chariot style base. I've got to admit. Interesting. Definitely have to have a long hard think about that, because he's a cool classic model, and I really want to use him in this army because he's just such an interesting looking guy. Yeah. Okay, cool. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at a Beastmaster and his rather nifty Chaos Hound. Now, I've always loved this model. He's really quite interesting, and there's quite a few variations on him actually. I think there's 3 different versions of this guy. There's a guy with just the scythe, and he's holding the bottom of the scythe, and I think the scythe is a little bit shorter as well. There's a guy with an alternate face, and then there's the Beastmaster version of this guy with the whip as well as the scythe. So this is the Beastmaster version, as you can see, and he's pretty, save for varnish, he's pretty much finished, I would say. He's got a little bit of rust on him that you can you might be able to just about make that out with the multiple crazy light sources that I'm using at the moment. A bit of natural light out the window and a lamp, but really just to push this out and show you what I've managed to accomplish, I figured I'd just go with the flow. So yeah, as you can see, he's a little bit shiny as usual from the varnish, and then the dog is pretty much in the same sort of state of affairs as well. I gave him sort of slightly glowing eyes because I thought that might be kind of cool for a Cerberus looking dog. I mean, really the shine does take away from the model a little bit, but you get the idea. He's actually painted quite a sort of a rich red. It's kind of similar to a similar sort of red to the table. So to give you an idea of the sort of colour that he is. But yeah, that's my Beastmaster and his trusty Chaos Hound. Now I've actually got a couple of other Chaos Hounds. Two are older models. I've got another one from this set, which is kind of a bit more bulky, and it has a scorpion's tail, which is kind of cool. And I've also got a what is it? I think it's a tiger or something from one of the older sets. I can't remember what the set's called off the top of my head, but it's pretty cool, and really it'll fit in quite nicely with the Chaos Hound, I think. So that's all I've got for you today. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe and all that good stuff, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be having a look at a Minotaur. Now this is one of the Midland Minotaurs that I have talked about in a previous video. Unfortunately, this guy hadn't been painted by the time I had done that video, so this is a new video, just sort of doing a bit of a showcase on him. Now I think he's probably one of the coolest looking Minotaur models you can get. He's running forwards like he's going to charge someone with his big sort of bull head, and he's covered in sort of like armour pieces, like an old school sort of gladiator, I suppose. So he's a fantastic model. He's really sturdy. He's solid metal. So this sort of pose is really quite. I mean, it's quite fine to have a solid metal model just standing on one foot. He's never going to break or anything. And really, he's just a fab fun model. So I thought I'd do a bit of a highlight on him, simply because I think he's so fun. As you can see, the model is based on a MDF base, so it's a 50 by 50 mil MDF base, so that's twice the size of a Chaos Warrior square base. So he's quite a cool guy. As you can see on the base, I've used static grass and little bits of cogs and stuff, just to really bring out a little bit more character in the bases. I found my bases a little bit. I was getting a little bit bored of doing my bases, just with the cogs themselves, and I think the static grass sort of gives it a bit more of a bit more of an interesting sort of feel for the whole thing. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for you today. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe and all that good stuff, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Now, I've taken a bit of an executive decision with this one. I know I did ask you in one of the previous videos what you think I should do with the base for my Dragon Ogre. Now, previously he was based on an oval base, which was more of an Age of Sigmar-ism, and really it didn't sort of sit well with me that he would be featured in the same army as a load of guys with square and hexagonal bases, so more angular bases. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to base this guy on a chariot base and be done with him. So this is what I've come up with. He's, as you can see, on a nice big chariot base. He's still recovering from varnish, which is why he's so shiny. But you can see that I've done quite a lot of work on it. I've put cogs and things on there. I've done static grass and all kinds of fun stuff, just to make it a little bit more interesting and a bit more kooky. So what what have I used cog wise? I'm trying to keep a bit of a theme for each of the units. So the Chaos Warriors are based on square bases, and they're in hollow lipped bases, which I can then mount a pre-slaughter model into. But for the actual basing material, I've gone with gold plated cogs, so they're or gold effect cogs essentially. Now these guys are all the same, so they've all got 3 cogs on each base. Now this guy is a little bit bigger, so I thought I'd put a bit more on his base. So he's got maybe, I don't know, half a dozen or maybe a dozen cogs and bits and bobs on there. But what I tried to do was I tried to limit it to the brass effect cogs and some sort of rusty cogs, just to give him a bit more of a different sort of vibe, I suppose. So I think that sort of worked out quite well. Maybe I'll put a little bit more rust on his base as well to sort of, you know, amp him up a bit. And I've got to go over his armour as well with some rust. Maybe pick out a few more highlights with some sort of brighter colours, just to give him a bit more of a boost, really. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be having a look at some more Chaos Warriors that I'm going to be using for my Realms of Chaos army. Now these guys are speciality set Chaos Warriors, which means they're pretty old. They're probably early 80s, I would say. I don't know the figure off the top of my head, but if you ask me in the comments below, I'll get back to you with an exact figure. But these guys are, well, they weren't, first of all, they weren't painted at all in the previous video. They'd just been sort of left to their own devices, but now I've actually got off my arse and I've started painting them, and really they're turning out quite nice. Again, they've got 3 gold effect cogs on each base, just to sort of bring them to life a little bit. They've been painted with a green as their sort of contrasting colour, so the previous unit had red as their contrasting colour. So each unit I'd like to sort of keep as a different contrasting colour, just to sort of, I don't know, differentiate them a little bit. But as you can see, they still retain the sort of the black and white checks on some of their clothing, just to bring them all together. But really, these are really quite nice models. They're really interesting, really different, and I mean, you'd never see a Chaos Warrior with this sort of armour or anything like that. These days they'd just be in full plate, and really, I mean, they've lost a little bit of their character, I think, and it's kind of a shame. I mean, look at this guy, he looks like a frickin' Birdman or something. Now, I think I'm most proud of this guy as a paint job, simply because I've managed to just about get in there and do all the detail. I've picked out all of his little rivets or whatever they are on his outfit, and he just looks really nice. So I think I'm kind of happiest with him, little Birdman. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at my Chaos Knights. Now they're pretty much finished. I'd say 99% finished. I mean, all I've got to do is do a little bit of rust effect and then go around the edges of the bases, give the bases a bit of a highlight. So, I mean, that's really not a lot of work for me. I mean, I could probably smash that out in probably 10 minutes. So, really, for all intents and purposes, these guys are pretty much complete. Well, what have I done to them? So, the bases themselves are Games Workshop style cavalry bases. The integral bases that the horses have are now all buried under a load of cogs and static grass and a load of my sort of concrete effect material that I've rustled up. The guys themselves, they've all got different shields. There's a couple of plastic shields, there's a load of metal shields, and really I just wanted shields that evoked that sort of feeling of that old school sort of vibe for sort of chaos, which means really you can give them a shield from any army, paint it in an appropriate way, and really that's pretty much it. I've got a few ideas of what I'd like to do to sort of further them a little bit more. I'm toying with the idea of sculpting capes onto all of them, and doing sort of almost like do the capes almost like furs, so that they've got furs on them. Really, I'm in two minds about whether or not I want to do that and create a load more work for myself. So really, it's probably a time concern for me. I don't think I will bother with it at the moment. But saying that, who knows, in the future I might be able to set aside a couple of days to sculpt some nice cloaks, and to give them that little bit of an extra sort of oomph, I guess, and really make them sort of stand out. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for you today. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be looking at my Chaos Warriors, and well, what a sight they are. They are almost complete. I've just got to edge the bases and give them a blast with the old matte varnish, which will bring their sort of glossiness down to sort of almost a satin-like finish. So what have I done to these guys? Well, these guys are all pre-slaughter, which means they've got integral bases, as you have probably seen in the previous videos. So I won't go into that in too much detail. Simply put, they're put down into the base rather than standing on top of the base. So here's a good example. This guy's sort of reminds me of Tormund from Game of Thrones. So he's a kind of an appropriate character to highlight, I think, now that Game of Thrones Season 7 has just finished. Well, I say just finished, maybe 2 months ago or so. And he's got a nice bat shield as well, so he's quite a cool little character. I mean, each of these were, they're a mix of sort of badly painted and stripped models. So what I've done is I've just sort of refurbished them, I suppose. I've given them brand new bases. I've given them a nice undercoat, and then I've tried my best to sort of bring out the character in each of them. I haven't really been too fussy with the paint scheme. I haven't kept it particularly limited. If I felt like something needed to be painted a certain colour, then I simply painted it that colour. For instance, this guy's suit of armour is black, whereas none of the other guys' armour is black. It's all sort of either a grey sort of colour, grey metallic colour, or a bone colour. But he's sort of a one-off. He's got black armour. For instance, there's a guy with a bow and arrow here, and he's got sort of a melted skeleton-like face. You know, I felt like he needed to be painted appropriately, so I sort of gave him a melted face. And really, they're just sort of cool, characterful, old-school models that I hope I've managed to sort of do justice. And there's quite a nice one at the back here. He's got quite a cool outfit on, like a swirly vortex on his chest. He sort of reminds me of the sorcerer from HeroQuest in sort of the stance. Maybe they used that as the basis for him, I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for you today, a complete unit of Chaos Warriors. So yeah, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Welcome back, Nerglings. Today we're looking at what I've completed of my Chaos Army, or my Realms of Chaos Army. Now, this has been an absolute joy to do over the last month or so. Really, it's been quite an effort. I've been sitting down and sort of religiously painting between sort of 2 and 4 models every day. And really, it hasn't really been a chore at all. So there's been times when I thought, I can't really face doing any models this morning, but I've just sat down and got on with it, and just working through it actually helps with sort of the motivation the next day. And I found that just sort of sticking it out and actually just getting on with it has actually really helped with my sort of just getting getting through it all, you know. And the output or the outcome has been absolutely freaking awesome. I've really enjoyed what I've managed to achieve, and I mean, well, the results sort of speak for themselves, don't they? I mean, I've got a beautiful looking Chaos Army that's almost complete. But this part of it's almost complete. I mean, there's probably at least another 3 times this to go. But for the purposes of this month-long saga, I suppose it's getting there. It's pretty much getting there. Now, this has been probably one of the more fun projects that I've done, and it's simply because the style of the models. I mean, the old style models that you come across, you know, in sort of old model shops and stuff like that. Not this new sort of plasticky stuff or the fine cast or any of that. It's the old sort of style models that really sort of evoke that feeling of high fantasy and sort of, you know, dark catacombs and all that old sort of school stuff that I really enjoyed when I was growing up. I've tried to evoke that sort of feeling with this army, and really I hope I've sort of managed to achieve that. So just to give you a rundown of what all of this stuff is, in case you haven't been following or you don't know. So in the top left we've got a Dragon Ogre. He's an old school Warhammer model. Just at the top in the sort of the middle we've got a mixture of models. So we've got a old Citadel man at arms with a halberd. We've got a few Midland models, a Goblin Captain and an Orc Spearman, and then we've got an Evil Lord. And he's not the Chaos Lord, I'll give you that, but he's an Evil Lord, so he's, you know, responsible for probably, you know, captives and all this other stuff. Here we've got a baggage train, which is I absolutely really wanted to include in the army, simply because they're so characterful and so fun, and I love the little guy on top. I think he's really comical. We've got a naughty little thief over here hiding away, and just sort of, I imagine he would probably try and steal stuff from the baggage train if he got half a chance, but with the Goblin Captain and his little buddies around, I think he's probably finding it a bit hard to do. We've got a Beastmaster and his 2-headed hound here, both awesome models. I really enjoyed painting those, and I always wanted to get this Beastmaster model simply because I think he's really cool. We've got some Ralpatha Europe Chaos Imperium, I think, Chaos Knights. So these guys are, you know, they're beautiful models. If you've got an opportunity to get some from Ralpatha Europe, then absolutely do so. They're really nice. They come with some interesting sort of old school shields, but I swapped those out for some Pantheon of Chaos ones and some old plastics. So that's sort of you know, gives them a bit of a different vibe, I think. We've got 2 Minotaurs here and here from Midland Miniatures. Again, beautiful Minotaurs. They're probably my favourite Minotaurs in all of wargaming, I would suggest. And then we've got a main unit of Chaos Warriors, which are pre-slaughter. So they're the old models which have integral bases. They don't go on slaughter bases. They've got integral bases, and I've mounted them down hollow-lit bases. And then finally we've got the Battle Standard, who's a old Minotaur Lord with a Great Taurus bull's head and some nice sort of modifications and stuff. I did some of my own sculpting on the model, and hopefully I'll be able to get the banner done sometime soon. To sort of add to this, I actually had quite a few more Minotaurs. I had 4 more Minotaurs to do. Unfortunately, I haven't managed to get them done yet. And I've got quite a few more Chaos Warriors as well. I've got about 25 probably about 30 more Chaos Warriors to do. I'm not too sure how I'm going to flesh out the rest of that unit, but I might get some Knights Templar miniatures and sort of base them up and put them in with them, just to sort of flesh out the units. Then I'll probably have in total about 60 Chaos Warriors. I've got, again, 60 Beastmen that I haven't even started painting yet, but I wanted to just sort of showcase what I've got so far complete. I've got some other things, sort of other little projects on the go as well. I've got some more hounds for the Beastmaster to corral, and I've got a few wizards and things like that. I've also got an old chariot that I'd like to build up. So there's plenty of good stuff in the pipeline for the future. But for now, this is probably where I'm going to leave this Chaos Army. And I'll try and do sort of either a get it painted challenge or some sort of other thing to get me motivated to actually continue and finish this army off, because it's been an absolute joy and really it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, just tell me what you think. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace. Back, Nerglings. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a summary, I think, of the sort of the lessons learned from doing this large-scale project. So probably the first lesson is probably don't bite off more than you can chew, and it kind of sounds a bit stupid, but don't collect, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of models without painting any, because you're just going to get absolutely inundated with stuff, and you're not going to know where to start. And really, I often fall foul of that when I'm collecting an army or trying to do a specific project with miniatures, because there's so many awesome models out there that just take my fancy, and I just sort of switch fire onto that and concentrate on that for a while, and then I sort of end up losing sight of the goal of finishing something off. And this hasn't actually happened this time. I've been pretty good with what I've been managing to do and sort of keep up with. I think that's kind of possibly down to the fact that I read a really good article on 80s Realm of Chaos, or was it Realm of Chaos 80s blogspot, and basically it said, don't just collect things for the sake of collecting them. This wargaming sort of fanaticism, I suppose, it is actually painting the models. It takes you a lot longer to glue and model and paint the models than it will ever do to, you know, have a 2-hour long battle between you and your mates. You know, to get to that 2-hour long battle, you've got to put in, you know, dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of work, pretty hard work. You know, I certainly wouldn't ever say I would like to do it as a job, because I think that would take part of the joy out of it. But you do have to put in a lot of hard work to get something that you're proud of, I suppose. The second thing is, when you've chosen your army, stick with it. You know, there's no point in, you know, getting half an army and then sort of giving up on it. You know, stick with it and really do your best to complete it as far as you can. I mean, it goes back to the distraction thing. It's being able to have that persistence to keep on going and keep on plugging away at something. And I mean, sometimes all it really needs is you to read a little bit more of the background info or the background fluff, and you can sometimes get re-inspired to actually do some more of that army. So keep on reading, keep on gaming, keep on painting and modelling, and really it's just down to keeping that discipline to actually get something finished. And thirdly, I would say probably, you know, old models aren't dead. You know, there's a lot of Age of Sigmar stuff going around at the moment, and that's all well and good, but I'm not really into that sort of style of gaming. I don't think I prefer to just collect and model and to paint. So really, I would say if you're keen on or you're interested on collecting something similar to what I've collected here, then basically there's plenty of, you know, manufacturers that still do this sort of stuff. There's Prince August and Perry Miniatures, Essex Miniatures, Eureka Miniatures. There's loads and loads of really great manufacturers out there. You don't just have to keep with Games Workshop. You know, both iterations of Railpatha, so Iron Winds and Railpatha Europe certainly. are both great. Midlam Miniatures is another good one. So, you know, there's a few to start off with, but there's loads, and I mean there's dozens of different manufacturers out there that still have this old school mentality behind casting and sculpting, and really it's all down to you to find your niche, I suppose. You know, find what you really enjoy and what you really love, and just carry on doing it. So thanks very much for watching the last, well, I guess it's the last 30 odd videos for the end of this month, and I hope this has sort of inspired you to maybe go back and get some of the old books. You know, maybe get some of the old lead or white metal models, and you know, just go back to the old school really. So yeah, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. Peace.